Hello, my name is Alvin, and today I will be showing you how to multiply any two numbers without showing any work. You may think this trick is complicated, but it's really not. You just have to be able to add two-digit numbers in your head and multiply one-digit numbers. So like 7 times 9 is 63. You should be able to know how to do that. And like 23 plus like 58, what's that? If you can do that, you should be able to figure out how to multiply any two numbers without showing work. However, if you can't, please practice that, but I'm sure the majority of you can, since you are all smart people. Now, let's get started. So let's start with two-digit numbers, just for the basics, but the process is exactly the same. Say 34 and 73. We use a process that is known as cross multiplication. Just like normal multiplication, we will put the numbers in this format. We have the 34 right here on top and the 73 on the bottom. Here's our time sign and here's the line, and we will put our answer below it. So this was how I was taught to multiply two numbers, and it should be how you were taught as well. So we begin by multiplying the units digits like normal. So 4 times 3 is 12, and note that the arrow points down, so 4 is being multiplied by where the arrow is pointing out, which is 3, so 4 times 3. But where did the 1 go? We actually need to keep track of this. To do that, either just remember the answer, keep it in your head, or hold on to it in your fingers. It's not cheating, it's just a clever trick. So I would hold one finger up to show, 1, 2, and 4 times 3 is indeed 12. And you can use this trick later on in the video. Next, we will see why it's called cross multiplication, because I don't see any crosses. Now you do. So, we multiply the 3 by the 3 as this arrow, this one, is showing, and the 4 by the 7 as that arrow is showing. Then we add them together. Then, finally, we add the 1 that we are remembering or holding on in your fingers. With practice, you will soon be able to do this in your head. So the multiplication has been slightly enlarged, just so you can understand this cross, because it really does look like a cross now, doesn't it? If it weren't for those arrowheads. So 3 times 3 plus 4 times 7 plus 1 is 9 plus 28 plus 1, which is 38. Like previously with the 12, write the ones digit, or 8, down, and keep that 3 in your head or fingers. So you have 8 right here, and we'll hold 3 fingers, or just remember it, which is how I do it. So we're almost done. Finally, we multiply the tens digit. 3 times 7 is 21. Then we add the 3 that we were saving up. So 21 plus 3 is 24. Therefore, we put the 21 in this blank spot, and our answer is 2,482. There, that wasn't so bad, was it? Here are 3 practice problems in order of difficulty. You can pause the video to attempt them, or continue and learn the similar process for larger numbers. So the first one is, what's 14 times 53? Well, this is not the worst problem in the world because it has a 1. Ones are very easy to multiply by, and overall the numbers are relatively small. This one's slightly harder because we don't have any 1s and the numbers are a bit bigger, but it's still relatively easy, and you should be able to calculate it quickly. However, this one's now actually kind of hard because these numbers are big and they will result in a big solution as well. So be careful of your calculation mistakes. The answers will be revealed at the end of the video. Next, let's practice some 3-digit multiplying. The process is basically the same. Literally exactly the same, but slightly harder to keep track of. Let's try 557 times 826. You can follow along with this on paper, or make your own example if you want. So we set up the multiplication normally and calculate the ones digit multiplication. What's 7 times 6? It's 42. So we write down the 2 and keep in mind the 4. Next, we do the same cross that we encountered when multiplying two-digit numbers. We multiply the 5 by the 6, as shown here, the 7 by the 2, as shown here. Let's do the math. What's 5 times 6? It's 30. 7 times 2 is 14. So we have 30 plus 14 plus 4, which is 48. Again, write the 8 down here and remember the 4. This next part is when we figure out this next digit. This time, we're going to do a triple cross, as shown here. And it looks kind of ugly, but you get it. It requires slightly more memorization skills because you have to add 3 numbers in your head, but uses the same technique. So as expected, we start with 7 times 8, like this big arrow. Then we do 5 times 2, and 5 times 6, and finally the 4 from earlier. This equals 100. This is actually a key moment because our sums have reached 3 digits. However, the strategy is the same. Write down the units digit, or 0, like right here, and remember the rest, so remember the 10. Again, if you're following along and practicing, you should be able to remember it. Plus, you can even hold up 10 fingers. The rest of it is straightforward, so I'll just tell you the answer. It's 460,082. And just to make sure, let me show you the process again. We started with 7 times 6. Then we did 5 times 6 and another 7 times 2 to get this. Then we did the hardest part, 7 times 8 plus 5 times 2 plus 5 times 6. Then we did 5 times 2 plus 5 times 8, and finally we calculated 5 times 8 for the final answer. Congratulations! You have fully learned how to use cross-multiplying to find the product of any two numbers without showing work. Here's one final trick. Suppose you wanted to multiply a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. It will look like this. Say we wanted 327 times 95, but there's a blank space there. What do? Well, you can just put a 0 there and continue the multiplication. So when you encounter that 0, like you're doing 2 times 0 plus 3 times 9, well, 2 times 0 is 0. So really, it doesn't matter, and you just have 3 times 9. Finally, here's some practice problems in order of difficulty. This one starts to be the easiest, as the 0 makes it a lot easier, especially when you're doing the 5 times 0 and the 3 times 0 and the 4 times 0. Those make the calculations a lot easier. This one's slightly harder because instead of a 0, we have a 1. But their ones are also pretty easy to multiply by. And finally, this one's the real ultimate challenge. If you get all of these right, you are the GOAT. Basically, these numbers are all super high, so it makes it harder to keep track of in your head, especially when you have to do like, what's 9 times 8 plus 5 times 9 plus 7 times 8? That's hard to remember. Thank you for watching this video. If you learned something today, please remember to like and subscribe. To find out more, you can also get the book Secrets of Mental Math by Arthur Benjamin and Michael Shermer. See you in the next one!